now আমি
ম্যাম 15 জুলাই লেখা মিড টার্মের ডেট ম্যাম
বলো 15
15 জুলাই
exactly. In that case we have time. Let's see আর কতগুলো চলবে। আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে 15 জুলাই তোমাদের মিডটার্ম হয়ে যাবে সময় মতো। I'm quickly browsing through the slides. আচ্ছা can you hear me clearly?
ইয়েস ম্যাম
Okay, let's
Yes,
see.
ma'am.
আবুল স্যার একটু দেখো Okay, let's see. We have no কথা বলো। So I'm going to start. Okay. Uh, types of communication, as you can see from the slides, pretty simple to understand. Two types: verbal communication, non-verbal communication. Verbal communication means I'm into the chat box. Number one, verbal communication. Chat box দেখো chat box যা আছে I am repeating again. You should write it down exactly in your class lecture copy. Okay, communication two types: verbal and non-verbal. Verbal means with the help of words. So we speak. Oral language is part of it. Written language is part of it. Non-verbal communication. It a pura long list of examples are there. Have a look on the examples. আমি আর বলবো না ফাঁকায় দেখো। Have a read. এগুলো পড়ো। Look at the examples. দেখা হয়ে গেলে বলো। Just read the examples. পড়া হয়ে গেলে বলো। এখন এক্সাম্পল গুলো পড়া হয় নাই।
পড়া হয়েছে।
ডান ম্যাম
Okay. So I'm moving to the next slide. So look at this headline. This picture, probably you know this is a masterpiece of art, and the artist is Leonardo da Vinci. And look at the heading. You agree or not? What? Okay, let's move on. So see these different types of smile. So the same person, obviously you can understand, and there are 16 different moods. 16 different moods. And probably say, for example, what would you say? This smile is formal or natural? What? This smile?
ফর্মাল ম্যাম।
It looks formal. Okay. Now, what about this? Say, for example, what about, say, for example, is it like natural or formal?
ন্যাচারাল ম্যাম। ন্যাচারাল ম্যাম।
Like natural, right? So now you know that means there are different type of smile we see in this 16 types of smile of the same person, and different smile has different message. Is it not?
ইয়েস ম্যাম।
ইয়েস ম্যাম
ইয়েস ম্যাম।
This
Yes,
looks
ma'am.
more formal. This look bit criticizing type. This looks she's as if she's surprised, and this is also she's looking surprising, and she's indicating to pause someone else, and this is she's bursting into laughter, something like that. So different smile has different message. Let me write it down. Different smiles have different messages. We can pretty much read the meanings hidden into smile. Is it not? Smiles have different messages, and we can pretty much read the meanings hidden into smile. So this is about non-verbal communication. There is no word, but still it is communicating, and pretty much we can understand what could be the message. So this is about non-verbal communication. Now, knowledge is sorry, এটা একটু ছোট করতে হবে। Psychology is common knowledge. I mean that okay, psychology, human psychology, the way we can read pretty much different type of smile. So the human mind, reading human mind, that knowledge of psychology is pretty much common. We can read faces or smile or eyes or tone. We can. From the tone, we can understand if somebody is happy or angry, something like that. And yes, obviously from the eyes and from the smile and from face, we can read. So this ability to read human mind through the face, smile or eye or tone, this kind of knowledge of psychology is pretty much common. Okay, though we do not have any formal knowledge of psychology, though we are not trained in the field of psychology, but we can read these things. So that means psychology is pretty much common knowledge. That's what I say. Okay, now face reading, that we can do face reading. Now there are two options. One is this psychology professor, and another is hijacker. The question is, what do you think? Who is better at face reading? Is it the psychology professor or the hijacker? যেটা মনে করো চ্যাট বক্সে আনসারটা লিখে দাও as you feel right. Okay, the correct answer is what Ashfaq has given. The correct answer is what Ashfaq has given, that the hijacker can read face better than the psychology professor. Why so? Let me explain. What we have learned, crisis. We have learned the power of crisis. The way we have learned that crisis is the mother of invention. Also, we learned that crisis is the best teacher. Write it down. Crisis is also the best teacher. So what happens? Okay, and human brain works better in crisis. Human brain works, except few cases of panic attack, that is okay. But for majority of the people, it is true that human brain works better in crisis. Human brain works better in crisis. This is commonly true. Human brain works better in crisis. Okay, now the example that human brain works better in crisis. Okay, cavemen, they had crisis, threat of life from bison hunting, and their brain worked better. They solved that. Okay, crisis. Why? Why that crisis is the mother of invention? Why so? Crisis is the mother of invention. Okay, it proves that human brain works better in crisis. Do you get the point? If not, if human brain would collapse in crisis out of panic attack, in that case, the cavemen would not be able to hunt bison. Do you get the point?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, খেয়াল করে দেখো that if your exam is just few days away and you're trying to learn or memorize, if you compare your brain working 1 week ahead of your exam or 2-3 days ahead of your exam, then you compare your performance of learning when exam was 3 months uh, ahead. When your brain worked better for learning?
Right before
1
the
week
exam.
before the exam.
Exactly, right before the exam. So do you get the point? Brain works better under crisis. Do you get the point?
Yes, ma'am.
And that's the reason crisis is the best teacher. Now let us apply this knowledge here. Who has more crisis?
Hijacker, ma'am.
Sure.
Hijacker.
He deals with threat, life threat every day. That in chasing that a particular person for mobile, and after hijacking he has to run with his life. So the crisis this hijacker is facing is in fact the kind of crisis that cavemen would face while hunting bison. Is it not the same thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. But for the professor, he has a stable life, a group of students he lectures. Obviously, his formal knowledge is way more, no doubt, but he has no crisis. If students do not understand the theory and concept of psychology, his job will not be at stake. He will not be fired, right, by the university authority. Is it not? You got the point? So in that case, now the point is where hijacker chooses that whom to catch for mobile phone or wallet. So how does he do that? He primarily does read face and body language of a person. Is it not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
again, if his reading is wrong, if he is looking for a person who would look nervous, who would be carrying a good amount of cash or some valuables. So he has to read that, and he also has to read that the person must be, if the person is a nervous type one, that is a good catch. But like that bison, the way a caveman, that did read the face of bison, and bison looked more dumb than deer or zebra or giraffe, you can understand. So the cavemen could read through their brain that actually the risk would be less. Bison would counter less. So similarly, see, using the same logic, and I told you that human brain is ancient, as we learned from the first lecture, and the lecture there we learned from evolutionary psychology that human brain is ancient. So what our ancestors used to do, that left imprint inside our DNA or gene. So that also prompts us, that commands us from within, and we learn that, okay, fine, that's the reason that why children, they would prefer the wall as a medium of expression, whatever they do, instead of piece of papers. So this hijacker had to do the same thing, and had to read the face, that would be relatively easy catch, and from there he would have to he can manage a safe hijacking from there. So do you get the point? Why hijacker is better at face reading than the psychology professor? Do you get it now?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
now here is, surely you are going to be surprised. Surely you are going. It's the science of communication, human communication. Obviously, look at this. এটা খুব ভালো করে পড়ো। I clearly mentioned this is science of human communication. So there is no but if. When it is science, there is no but if. So this is the way you can say. So through words, people communicate only 7%, and rest we communicate through nine. Rest of the communication is done through body language, non-verbally, and that is 93%. এটা কোথাও পড়ছো কিনা আগে সেটা বলো, আর যদি না পড়ে থাকো এখন পড়ে হাউ ডু ইউ ফিল সেটা বলো।
একটা ডকুমেন্টারি দেখেছিলাম ম্যাম ইন্টারভিউ এর উপর, ইন্টারোগেশনের উপর, ওখানে ম্যাম এ ব্যাপারে বলেছিল আর কি, পুলিশ ইন্টারোগেশনের উপর।
ওকে, কি বলছিল বলো।
মেইনলি একজন মানে ওখানে ছিল মানে পাগল সাজার চেষ্টা করতেছিল সে খুন করার পরে। এখন সে কি আসলেই পাগল নাকি না এটা তার বডি ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজের থেকে বোঝা যাচ্ছিল যে ক্যামেরাটা চলে গেছে মানে পুলিশ চলে গেছে, ক্যামেরা তখনও ছিল, তখন তার বডি ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ চেঞ্জ হয়ে গেছে, সে আশেপাশে তার সারাউন্ডিং চেক করা শুরু করেছিল, যেটা পুলিশ বললো যে এট দ্যাট টাইম সে যদি পাগল থাকতো তাহলে সে তার সারাউন্ডিং চেক করতো না, সে তখনও মানে ননশালান্ট থাকতো। বাট সে যেহেতু তার সারাউন্ডিং চেক করতেছে তার মানে সে তখনও সেইন আছে, সে চিন্তা করতেছে তার নেক্সট পদক্ষেপটা কি হওয়া উচিত। মানে সেখান থেকে পুলিশরা আর কি ফার্স্টে তার উপর সন্দেহ করে, দেন ধীরে ধীরে তাকে ইন্টারোগেশন করে বের করে যে আসলে সে পাগল না।
Okay, good. Thank you. বাকি কিছু বলবা? You learned it from somewhere else earlier, or if it is not, if you are going to learn it just now for the first time ever in your life, then tell me how do you feel about that? That you communicate only 7% through the words you speak, and rest 93% is automatically communicated through your body language. That is the science of communication. So I'm waiting for your expression, reactions. Follow. কি হলো, তোমাদের কথা আমি শুনতে পাচ্ছি না, নাকি বলছো না, নাকি what is it? এইরকম ডিগ্রি অফ রেসপন্সে আমার পক্ষে ক্লাস নেওয়া সম্ভব না। ইটস এ কমিউনিকেশন ক্লাস। আই ক্যানট টক টু দ্য to know that if you behave like furniture, I cannot teach. And for every time, for a simple reaction from you, you'll have to, if I have to put that much effort and energy to get to extract some reaction from you, in that case, this is torturesome on me. I feel I am in torture. I feel I am in torture. আমি পড়াবোই না।
আমি একটা এক্সাম্পল দিতে চাই।
বলো কি বলতে চাও? I said আমি এক্সাম্পল চাই না। I said I'm waiting for your reaction. আমি বলে নাই
এরকম রিঅ্যাকশনটা আমি পাইছি এবার আমার ইউনিভার্সিটিতে।
কি হয়েছে?
যে আমার পেমেন্টটা দিতে লেট হয়েছিল,
ওকে,
যার কারণে আমি মেইল করছিলাম, বাট মেইলের থেকে ম্যাডাম আমার ফেস রিঅ্যাকশনটা দেখে বুঝতে পারছে যে এটা একটা ট্রু ইনসিডেন্ট। যেটা আমি তখন বুঝতে পারছি যে মেইলের থেকে আমার ফেসটা দেখে সবচেয়ে বেশি বুঝতে পারছে যে না আমার একটা ফিনান্সিয়াল ক্রাইসিস ছিল।
বুঝি এটা মেল থেকে কি হয়েছে বুঝি নাই।
আমি মেইল করছিলাম, কিন্তু মেইলের থেকে ম্যাম যখন আমাকে সামনাসামনি দেখা করতে বললো তখন উনি বুঝতে পারছে যে হ্যাঁ আমার আসলে প্রবলেম ছিল, বাট মেইলে উনি বুঝতে পারেনি আমার কথাগুলো। সামনাসামনি আমার ফেসটা দেখার পর, আমার বডি ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজটা দেখার পর উনি বুঝতে পারছে যে আমার প্রবলেমটা হয়েছিল।
নাও যখন তুমি এটা বলতে মানে that now you connect this example with this theory or you knew that earlier, what is the case?
যেমন এটা আমি মাত্রই বুঝতে পারলাম যে ম্যাডাম আমার ফেস রিঅ্যাকশন এন্ড বডি ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজটা দেখে বুঝতে পারছে, যেটা আজকে মাত্র জানলাম আমি যে ওয়ার্ডস কমিউনিকেশন মাত্র 7% হয়, আর বাকিগুলো বডি ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ নন ভার্বাল এর মাধ্যমে বোঝা যায়।
Okay, thank you. Masibul Haidar. Anybody else? তোমরা লেখাপড়া ছেড়ে দাও, আর লেখাপড়া ছেড়ে না দিলেও আমাকে মুক্তি দাও, আমার ক্লাস থেকে ড্রপ করে দাও।
আমার কিছু স্টুডেন্ট আছে বাচ্চা, তো ওরা মাঝে মধ্যে ম্যাম পড়াশোনা না করলে আসলে বলে যে পেট ব্যথা বা অন্য কোনো সমস্যা, মাথা ব্যথা, এই কারণে পড়তে পারি নাই। তো তখন ওদের ফেস দেখে মানে আমার কাছে মনে হয় যে না ওরা মিথ্যা কথা বলতেছে। এটাই এখন জেনে আমার খুব মানে ভালো লাগতেছে যে অনলি 7% পিপল ম্যাম ইয়ে করে
আবার
কমিউনিকেট
আবার
করে।
আবার did I say 7% people? No, when did I say that 7% people communicate? No, কোথায় লেখা 7% people? একটা
সরি ম্যাম, সরি
sentence যদি পড়তেও না পারো, বুঝতেও না পারো, তাহলে আমি কি করবো? এটা তর্জমা করবো
সরি
কি করবো দেখো।
সরি ম্যাম,
ঠিক আছে,
সরি।
7% people communicate to কোথায় 7% people of the world? আমাদেরকে
সরি
পড়ানো অসম্ভব বলে মনে হচ্ছে আমার কাছে। প্রত্যেকটা ক্লাস যদি রাত করে পিছায় দেই বা বন্ধ করে দেই, ইট উইল নট হেল্প। তোমাদেরকে পড়ানোটা আমার মনে হচ্ছে বিরাট বড় টর্চার এবং চাকরি। আমি বলে দিই ক্লিয়ারলি দ্যাট আই এনজয় টিচিং। I never feel like this is my job. I am doing it by the command of my boss, of my boss. I never feel so most of the time throughout my life of teaching. So I've been teaching for such a long period of time. But when I see uh, poor responses from the class, I find it totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. অফলাইন ক্লাসে এরকম তোমাদের মতো ক্লাসে যখন পারফরমেন্স থাকে স্টুডেন্ট অফলাইন ক্লাসে ক্লাস থেকে বেরোয় যায়। আই ডিড ইট সেভারাল টাইমস ইন মাই লাইফ। I cannot take this kind of dumbness and passivity among the students. And when I see the students behave like furniture or dead body, it annoys me utterly. What you are doing, and probably by this time I expressed my disgust about your non-responses quite a few number of times. It is not the first time with this section. So this SR section is horrible. Completely horrible, and still even after class after there are 20 students present, only 20 students present. Probably others have dropped. If so, I am lucky. If so, then I am lucky. যদি ওনারা ড্রপ করে থাকে, এমন হতে পারে যে আদার ড্রপ করে নাই, আজকে এইটা ক্লাসগুলো আসে না, সেটা হতে পারে। বলো তাহলে কি করবো? আমি পড়াবো না, কি করবো? কিছু একটা বলো, লিখো, কিছু একটা করো। আমার ভালো লাগছে না তোমাদেরকে পড়াবো, এভাবে পড়ানো যায় না, এভাবে পড়ানো যায় না। You may be dead, I am not dead. If I do not feel like, and if you fail to do your part, that means you are supposed to respond. If you are not responding, I will not be teaching. পড়াবো না।
ম্যাম ইন্টারভিউ বোর্ড কুড বি এ নাইস এক্সাম্পল। ইন্টারভিউ বোর্ডে যখন আমাদের কোয়েশ্চেন গুলো করে বা যখন আমরা ভাইভা পরীক্ষাগুলো দিয়েছি ম্যাম সামনাসামনি, তখন ম্যাম যে টিচার বা পরীক্ষক যিনি থাকেন উনি শুধু আমাদের যে মৌখিক যে উত্তর সেইটার উপরে ডিপেন্ড করে না, আমাদের বডি ল্যাঙ্গুয়েজ, বলার ভঙ্গি, আচরণ, এগুলো তো অনেক কিছু এক্সপ্রেস করেন যে আমি কতখানি কনফিডেন্ট আছি বা আমার প্রিপারেশন কেমন, এই জিনিসগুলো থাকে ম্যাম।
আমি তোমাদেরকে যে কোশ্চেনটা, হ্যাঁ আশা তুমি যেটা বললা এটা আমি জিজ্ঞেস করি নাই। আমি ক্লাসকে বলছিলাম যে গিভ মি সাম রিঅ্যাকশন if I did not know something. Say for example gravity. Do you know what is gravity, the class? Do you know what is called gravity?
ইয়েস ম্যাম, আকর্ষণ।
ইয়েস ম্যাম।
আকর্ষণ না, গ্র্যাভিটি মোটেও আকর্ষণ না, ওটাকে আকর্ষণ বলে না বাংলায়।
অভিকর্ষণ।
হ্যাঁ, অভিকর্ষণ আর আকর্ষণ নিশ্চয়ই এক জিনিস না।
নো ম্যাম,
Which some scientists discovered gravity?
নিউটন।
Newton. Now the point is, কোন ক্লাসে পড়ছো নিউটন প্রথমে? মানে the word gravity, in which class you learned it?
6 এ থাকতো ম্যাম।
ক্লাস 6 এ থাকতো। তার মানে কি ক্লাস 6 এর আগে তুমি এটা জানতা নাকি জানতা না?
ম্যাম এর আগেও জানতাম।
কে বলছিল বলো?
ম্যাম আমার সিনিয়র কাজিন বলছিল যে এইটা এরকম হয়, এগুলা।
ভালো কথা। এটা তখন তুমি যখন প্রথম বলছিল তখন কত তোমার বয়স?
ম্যাম এটা তো এক্স্যাক্টলি মনে নেই, বাট আমি আগে থেকে জানতাম।
হ্যাঁ, এখন তোমাদের ভাবভঙ্গি দেখে মনে হচ্ছে যে আমার তোমাদেরকে পড়ানোর দরকার নেই, তোমরা সব আগে থেকে জানো। That this lesson, science of communication, that you are supposed to learn in this class, and normally you are supposed to learn in this class. You are not supposed to learn it from other courses. Okay, so in that case, it is not supposed to be a repeated knowledge to you. And if you see something for the first time, if you learn something for the first time, and when it is a great piece of discovery or invention in a particular body of knowledge, in that case, how do you feel knowing something new?
ম্যাম অ্যাকচুয়ালি ওই স্লাইডটা দেখে আমি বেশ খুশি হয়ে, মানে বেশ অবাক হয়েছিলাম, কারণ মাত্র 7% আমাদের কমিউনিকেশন যে
কথাটা বললাম যে I was surprised. I am asking for that. Okay, how do you feel? Give me a reaction knowing something. Did you know it earlier? And if you know it just now, in that case, what is your reaction? That was my simple question. The entire class is dumb. Seems like deaf and dumb. And to give this much reaction, that how do you feel? That, yeah, I mean, I failed to make you understand this question. বুঝলাম না কিছু আমি। Let me try to do my job. Forget about. Okay. Okay. এই তিনটা বুলেট পয়েন্ট পড়ো, পড়ে দেখো কিছু বুঝছো কিনা, বুঝলে বলো, যা মনে আসছে বলো, তিনটা পয়েন্ট পড়ো। কিছু বুঝলে বলো, না বুঝলে বলো, কি বুঝছো তাই বলো, তিনটা বুলেট পয়েন্ট পড়ে।
ম্যাম, কমিউনিকেশনের জন্য ভার্বাল আর নন ভার্বাল কমিউনিকেশন দুইটারই মানে দরকার আর কি। জাস্ট কথা বলে কোনো মানে জেস্টার বা কিছু যদি না থাকে আমি ভালো মতো বুঝতে পারবো না কি বলছে।
Okay, fine. Though তোমার you didn't understand it, you understood wrongly. Okay, let me explain.
সরি ম্যাম।
আমি চ্যাট করব, no, sorry ওর কিছু নাই। Let me explain an example.
ম্যাম আমি বলতে পারি?
বলো।
ম্যাম এখানে যেটা বুঝেছি যে ম্যাম আমি যদি আপনাকে একটা কথা বলি কিন্তু আমার মানে ভাবভঙ্গি যদি এটা উল্টাটা প্রকাশ করে, সেটা আপনার ব্রেইন মানে অটোমেটিক্যালি রিজেক্ট করবে যে দুটোর সাথে আমার ম্যাচ নেই।
Okay, you are right. Good, thank you. Let me explain what you said. That, okay, assume that you have a good news. You share that with one of your friends. Your friend is congratulating you. Look at the example. Likho felo. Assume that you have a good news, you have achieved something, you share that good news with your one of, and your friend is congratulating you, but his facial expressions okay, but what you notice, your friend's expression on the face and in the tone does not look or sound that much happy. Now there are two options. That and option B is there are two options. I have said, what do you think? Which option is true? You think so? Okay, all of you say that actually option B is true. What does it mean? This is what I said. If there is mismatch, I mean, what your friend is saying, good words, positive words, he's appreciating you, and he's congratulating you. So this is what he is saying, the words. So the words say he's very happy, but non-verbal communication, so the expressions, that indicates something else. So now, how your brain will pick up meaning from non-verbal cues? You will go by the expression on his face, that which looks either he's not much happy. So your brain will reject the words. The words were very positive and good and appreciative. Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's the thing. This is a little bit of idea that how that words communicate only 7%. So what he said, his words were well crafted, well thought, and he said he expressed good words for your achievement, right? But his expression on the face, body language, and through the tone, it indicated something else, the way you felt it. And finally, your brain did not believe in the words, your brain rejected the words. So this is the thing, that words communicate only 7%, and rest of the 93% of the communication, what we communicate, that we actually happy, are we actually jealous deep inside, but we are actually faking the the feeling inside with good words, right? So that's the thing. Okay, so that's why I said, what's the point of speaking? Since without saying anything through our body language, the meaning will be automatically conveyed, and no matter how we try with well thought positive words, still the other person will not believe in what we say. Okay. আহ, এগুলো আমরা অনেক পরে পড়বো আবার। আপাতত আমি এই স্লাইডটা স্কিপ করছি আপাতত। এই স্লাইডটাও আমি আপাতত স্কিপ করবো। এইটাতে আসে, এটা পড়ো দেখো। Body language is more powerful. So basically আমাদের আজকের ক্লাসটা is not that difficult. First of all, communication types, and we have learned two types. So basically, since there are two types of communication, so I will be giving some brief on non-verbal communication in today's class. Later on, there will be 2 or 3 more lectures on different types of non-verbal communication. For today only, we are going to learn the introductory part. So how non-verbal communication is strong? So this is the slide, it means about it. And again, that non-verbal communication, there are different meanings, and pretty much we can read it. And also that we learned that the professor who is expert on psychology, but another person is hijacker who has no knowledge on psychology, but still when it comes to understanding human mind through expressions or body language, hijacker will do it better than the psychology professor. Again, the reason is crisis is the best teacher, and obviously the degree of crisis in the life of hijacker is way more than the life of a professor. Okay, so we learned this science of human communication, that human beings communicate only 7% through what we say, and rest 93% automatically communicated through our face, tone, gesture, posture, and okay, these are the things. Acha, so actually, what's the point of speaking is a huge question, $1 million question in the science of communication. আপাতত আমি এই জিনিসগুলো স্কিপ করে যাচ্ছি, পরে আমি এখানে আসবো। Now, this slide is about how important is body language. So this is Peter F. Drucker. He is father of modern man. Okay, fine. He said most important thing in communication is hearing what is not said. The most important thing in communication is hearing what is not said. What is not said, that is actually is the body language part, that we are continuously communicating through our eyes, face, tone, and body language. So this is the most important thing in communication. So getting the words is if you only hear the words and do not notice the body language, in that case you did not understand anything. Okay, we communicate all the time, even when we do not realize it. That's it, because body language does communicate. So we communicate all the time, even when we don't realize it. So even when we remain silent, through body language we do communicate. Okay. Okay, now Abraham Maslow, once again, what he said: language can be a way of hiding your thoughts and preventing communication. See, once upon a time, যখন ছোট ছিল স্কুলে পড়তাম, তখন probably you have learned what is the definition of a sentence, and the definition was something like a sentence is something, okay, a combination of words through which people express their thoughts. Okay, we learned it. But Abraham Maslow is saying that language can be a way of hiding your thoughts. The way, say, for example, that example of your friend that he was saying all good words, okay, but he looked like rather he was not much happy and maybe deep inside he was a bit jealous of your success. Okay, so in that case, through the good words, positive words, he actually tried to hide his jealousy inside his heart. Is it not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, language, body language is more powerful than words. Okay, so another expert, he actually did not agree with this 93%, 7% breakdown. He said no, it is actually rather 20% or 80%. Whatever, if it is so, in that case, still 20%, 80% is a huge gap. So fine. But we'll be using the formula of 93% and 7% instead of 20%, 80%. Okay. So just I'm giving some example that few other experts they may vary to some extent from this 93% 7% invention. Do you get my point?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So few a group of scientists they say if it is not that high, 93% through body language, they say it is at minimum 80%. Still 80% is a huge sum of percentage. Okay, so crisis is the best teacher. So you can understand this from this picture. And okay, here explain করা কিছু নাই. This is self-explanatory. Okay, now এই টপিকটা শেষ। একটা টপিক that types of communication and how important is body language over words. এতটুকু আপাতত শেষ। Now I am moving into a new topic. Okay. This topic is about a topic communication versus other managerial skills. It is pretty much simple topic and it is taken directly from book, from management book actually, management 101 book. Okay, now there are three types of managerial skills: technical skill, communication skill, and then finally conceptual skill. Communication skill is also known as human skill and interpersonal skill. Three types of skill. So we are going to discuss now that okay, out of these three types of skill, which one is most important and how important is communication skill. That is our point of discussion. Okay, now technical skill. Technical skill examples of technical skill. বলো এটা পড়ছো তোমরা in BUS 101 or management 101. So it's something old. Okay, accounting skill is obviously technical skill. Accounting skill is technical skill of say how to prepare PowerPoint slides. That is also technical skill. Okay, these are the examples of technical skill. Community skill, do you understand? Okay, people skill, interpersonal skill, or okay, leading or teaming or coordinating. These are all number two, community skill, and third is conceptual skill. Conceptual skill example now.
ম্যাম নোয়িং যে আমার স্লাইডটা আমি আরো কিভাবে লুক্রেটিভ মানে দেখতে আরো সুন্দর করতে পারবো।
No, that is technical skill. That is mostly technical skill. Decision making skill is conceptual skill or solving business problem.
Ma'am, tactical knowledge.
Exactly. Tactical knowledge should be conceptual. Exactly. Solving business problems. Tactical knowledge, right? Tactical skill is conceptual skill. Okay, fine. Now, let's see which one is more important. So the topic is communication skill versus other managerial skills. Okay. Now, what happens? Now, you know that there are broadly three levels of management, right? Three levels of management. It is top level, then mid level, and then front line management. You know, 3 levels of management. Okay, someone who joined at frontline management, say as executive or training officer, something like that, and then with time, the person will get promoted through the ladder in course of time. So the person will hold in future mid-level position, and okay, even with more time, the person would move forward up the ladder of the organization and may finally become the CEO. Okay, fine. This is the different levels of management. Okay, now what is this slide about? Going down, going up, and going horizontally. Technical skill, the use of technical skill, importance of technical skill decreases along the ladder. That means when you move up, say for example, you become mid manager, then you become senior manager, then you become CEO. And then your technical skill will be less and less used. Why it is so? The CEO will have supporting group or secretary to help him or her, to help the CEO about technical matters. Am I clear? The CEO may not use the technical skill by himself. The CEO may take help from his supporting group or secretary to get it done. Am I clear why the importance of technical skill is decreasing along the ladder?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. When it is conceptual skill, now this opposite. It is importance increases along the ladder. So obviously the CEO will have to solve problems, will have to deal with tactical problems, strategic problems, and okay, we'll have to understand the problems not only within the organization but also the organization and outside. So conceptual skill is used more and more as the person moves up. So its importance increases along the ladder. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
But communication skill, for it, the arrow is horizontal. The importance does not change. So that means that whether someone is frontline manager or আপনারা লিখে নাও। এটা বুঝতে পারছো?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so a topic is very simple and it is done. So this topic was about communication skill versus other managerial skills. So what we get to learn is that importance of technical skill is going down as someone is moving up the ladder with promotion. For conceptual skill, it is just opposite. Importance of conceptual skill is increasing with time, but what we get to see that importance of communication skill remains the same. So along with promotion, the importance remains the same. It does not go down. Okay, let's move on now. Another topic, communication flow. 3 types of, now we are talking about communication flow. Now, top down, bottom up and horizontal. Three types of communication flow. That is also pretty simple. Let me explain. Top down. By the arrow you can understand, and by these examples you can understand what is about top down communication. So top management, CEO, board and CEO. Top management means board and CEO. They will decide about what is vision and mission or rules of an organization, and then they will let know for other people at the mid level and front line level. Okay, fine. The word is front line. The word is not bottom management. Please be clear very well that there is no top level, mid level, and then it's not bottom level. It is actually front line management. Okay, fine. Now, so these are the examples of top down communication. So let me write down in the chat box. लिख रहा हूँ. नेक्स्ट হয়ে গেল বলো. নেক্সট হয়ে গেল বলো.
হয়েছে ম্যাম.
Okay. Now, second is bottom up, just opposite. Bottom up, they look at this arrow. So, and look at this example, application and proposal. So, number 2 is about bottom up communication. That means, okay, example is any application or proposal. You can understand. Now this arrow is upward, so people, anybody, say for example, if it is even as simple as leave application or sick application, so someone, I have to write it to the chairperson and again to the vice chancellor. So this is about bottom up communication. So communication will start somewhere, so it is starting from somewhere at the front line or mid level, and it is moving towards the top authority for approval. You can understand. Easy. Now, the third type is grapevine. It's a new word. It's a one word. It's not two word. Grapevine mane angurer bagan, and it is now this is informal communication, and also this is horizontal communication. The earlier one was top down, and it is all about formal. It's mentioned clearly that top down, all these things are formal communication, and bottom up, so that is also formal communication. Now it is different. It is informal communication. It is informal, and okay, it has a beautiful name. It is grapevine. Why it is called so, I will explain. আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, এইটা এক্সপ্লেন করার আগে সরি, এইটা একটা এই স্লাইডটা বাদ চলে গেছে, এটা আসলে আগে হওয়া উচিত ছিল. Okay, now meeting is a communication, obviously no, but what do you think? Meeting top down, bottom up, or what do you think? Is meeting top down, bottom up, or what?
Top down.
It is actually both.
ম্যাম মিটিং এ তো অনেক সময় প্রপোজালও দেওয়া হয়.
Meeting, let me write it down. This is a combination. Yes, meeting a proposal দেওয়া হয়. Combination of top down plus bottom up. Take it over. Who will start the meeting? The chairman will start the meeting. So this is initially top down. Then the employees, subordinates, they will discuss. They may give some proposal. So that is the bottom up part. একটা আজানের বিরতি নেই, বিকজ এত জোরে আজান দেয় আমি কথা বলে শুনতে পাবো না একটু। So I am back. Okay, so meeting is actually both combination of top-down and bottom-up communication. Okay, what about budget? That is also combination. Budget is also
বাজেট ম্যাম প্রপোজাল দেওয়া হয়, এটা মনে হয় ম্যাম বটম আপ।
combination, yes, but it is combination. Combination of, first of all, you're right, bottom-up, and then it is top-down. Yes, budget is a proposal. So, for example, if it is DBA department budget for a year, so department chairperson will propose. The department will propose to the board and vice chancellor level, and then the top authority will approve it, and then the budget will be available to the department for use. So you can understand that budget is also a combination of bottom up and top down communication. Sales forecast is same. For sales forecast, it is same like budget. Sales forecast. It is same like budget. It's a combination of. আচ্ছা, যারা দেরি করে আসছো দুইজন, তোমাদের মানে গত রিজন তোমরা 1 ঘন্টা পরে আসছো। দুজনকে দেখলাম, প্লাবনকে দেখলাম আর কাকে দেখলাম, জয়েন নাও। বিষয়টা একটু বুঝিয়ে বলো।
ম্যাম আমি জয়েনই ছিলাম, আমার নেটওয়ার্কের সমস্যা ছিল দেখে ম্যাম ডিসকানেক্ট হয়ে গেছিল, তারপর আবার জয়েন করছি।
ওকে, ফাইন। Bottom up and top down. Sales forecast is the same, that the sales department will do the forecasting and finally it will be approved. So they will send it to the top for approval and top will approve after some correction maybe, and then top will send it down again. So this is about the flow pattern. So what we are learning is flow of communication. So একটু পিছনে আবার যাই for small revision, that 3 types of flow of communication. So top down, this is how it flows from top towards bottom, and look at the examples. Bottom up, this is how the flow occurs, and look at the examples. And okay, fine, what about these things? These are some communication which are combination of both top down and bottom up. Okay, majority of the communication in the organization, combination type, both. Okay, now let's see the third type. What about this? Grapevine, which is informal communication and which is horizontal communication. Let's see. আচ্ছা, এই স্লাইডটা একটু পড়ো, I will explain. Okay. Now, this is informal. So look at this. This picture can explain you that informal network of communication between and among the peers means colleagues. This word means colleagues at office. That is called grapevine. So the colleagues, they will have some informal talk during tea time, for example, and this is called grapevine. So informal network of communication between and among the peers at office. This is grapevine. Okay, now why it is called grapevine? So the grapevine is not documented at all. You understand that this is not about a meeting that the decision will be someone will put it down. So there is no documentation way of this informal communication. Now, how does it flow? So we are learning flow patterns. So how this information, for example, when it is RDR case, application from my table to chairperson and then to vice chancellor, the flow pattern is very much specific. Well destined, and okay, vision, mission, and rules. The rules, whether it is for staff or for faculty members or for students. So these rules are very much well destined. So from whom and to whom these things are well defined, well dictated. In case of grapevine, how does it flow? That is the question. because we are learning flow of communication. Now, let's see. Obviously, when people are talking informally in a friendly way among colleagues, there is no record or documentation of it. Now, how this information pass from one person to other person in the network? Now, this information may pass from one person to any possible direction to another person, forming a pattern of zigzag. How it is? Let's say if this is that a group of colleagues, say from university, from different departments, what may happen? She may share something to her colleague, say him, and he may further uh, share this information or pass this information to her or to him. Possible, very much possible, right? This is human nature, in fact. That information keeps flowing. Okay. Look at this, information has liquid-like properties. The way liquid water will keep flowing. Is it not? So, from up the hills, fountain flows down the hill and then through the ground, and okay, it passes through across the border. So when it is the mountain Himalaya, from Himalaya mountain, there are fountains, okay, coming through down the hill, and so it is and it creates river, and rivers keep flowing the boundaries. So when it is the river Ganges or Ganga, it is within the political boundary of India, and when it crosses the political boundary of India and enters into Bangladesh, we give it a different name, that is Podda. So what is this? The liquid keeps flowing. It's unstoppable. Information has some liquid-like nature and it keeps flowing. Is it not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So in grapevine, since it is informal talk, the flow of information, where from it is and where towards whom and who else it would be flowing, actually it is a zigzag type. So information may pass from one to any possible direction to another person. So it is possible a faculty member of BBA department, he or she may pass the information to someone else in whatever CAC department or economics or English department, from where the information may pass to any possible direction to and forming a pattern of zigzag. This zigzag pattern looks like grapevine. So the flow pattern will be zigzag, not a specific pattern. Zigzag pattern. Now why this? Now zigzag pattern ta আঙ্গুর গাছ কখনো দেখছো? না দেখলে অসুবিধা নাই।
নো ম্যাম, আঙ্গুর গাছ দেখিনি।
ম্যাম।
আঙ্গুর গাছ হয় মাচার উপরে, মাচার উপরে। আই মিন আমাদের দেশে লাউ গাছ, সিম গাছ তো দেখছো, রাইট?
ইয়েস ম্যাম।
Yes, ma'am.
ম্যাম
এখন ছাদেও করে, আমি সেটা কথা বলতেছি না। দ্য অরিজিনাল সিম গাছ অথবা লাউ গাছ যেটা গ্রামে হয়, সেটা একটা মাচার উপরে হয়। And what is this মাচা about? This is actually it is a climbing plant. Climbing plant that spreads along a huge network of sticks. Is it not a huge network of sticks? And that is where the plant is spread, because the plant is actually a climbing plant. আমি লাউ গাছ অথবা সিম গাছের কথা বলতে চাই, বুঝতে পারছো তো, রাইট?
Yes, ma'am.
Grapevine is same kind of network of same kind of network of sticks on which the grape plant grows. বুঝতে পারছি?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is the reason this zigzag pattern looks like grapevine. So stick of the sticks, that create a network like structure. So okay, somehow the management scientists preferred that design and gave this informal talk in office among peers. Okay, this name was given grapevine. Okay, now grapevine may spread rumor. You can understand it is quite logical human behavior that when information pass on from one point to another point through many other points. So in this process of what? In the process of flowing the information, know that people may add their own version, their own biasness, or people may color the information or may add up the spice to the information. In that case, grapevine may spread rumor because it is not recorded anywhere. Nobody puts signature into it about that information. So information naturally may lack authenticity. So grapevine may spread rumor. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
It is also hard to find the root. That means origin. That means if there is some grapevine going on here, that okay, but actually who was the first person, I mean root or origin of this information, who spread this information, uh, how to find it out? It's very difficult to find out actually who was the first person who gave this input into the grapevine. Do you get this point? That it is hard to find root of grapevine. It is also true in case of real একটা সিম গাছের অনেক বড় মাচার দিকে তাকালে, since the root of the plant is very thin, it's apparently difficult to find out where from it started. Is it not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So to find out the plant root in a grapevine, looking at grapevine, the way it is hard. Similarly, when it is informal network of communication grapevine in organization, it is similarly difficult to find out who was the first person or origin or root who gave this input into grapevine. Now, grapevine is integral. That means it is inseparable. It is and it is universal. That means it is everywhere. In every organization, there is grapevine. So whether it is East University or Apple, whatever it is, everywhere there is grapevine. Why it is so? Why grapevine is everywhere? The reason is it satisfies level 3, that friendship, sense of connection. Okay, now we learned that level 3 did exist. Did exist during Stone Age, right? We
Yes,
learned,
ma'am.
okay. So we learned that okay, caveman far away from his beloved ones, close ones, family members, and if he was approaching towards death, in that case, the man would indeed, obviously, it would indeed miss the family member. So he had level 3. So we learned it. Now, see, when you were back in school at the age of 5 or something or so, you made friends quickly, right? Is it not? Probably you made friends within 1 month. Is it not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So then you finished school, you moved on to college. Again, you made new friends in college. You came to university and you made new friends in university. And when the education will be over, you will be in office. Again, you will make not friend, but actually you will make some informal friendly relationship with few of your colleagues. Why it is so? You did the same thing in your childhood, and still, when you are a full-grown man or woman, adult, but still, wherever you go, even if you settle down outside Bangladesh, you migrate somewhere else, Sydney or New York. Again, there you will make some informal, friendly relationship with your colleagues or with your neighbors. So what does it mean? This is the need of human being for friendship or human connectivity. This is level 3. And that is the reason, since level 3 is universal. So this model of Abraham Maslow is about human needs. So this is about all human beings. So in that case, that's the reason that why grapevine is everywhere, whether it is university, East West University, so the faculty members or staff, they have some degree of informal relationship among the peers or colleagues. Same is true whether you go to the organization Apple. So why it is universal? Because it satisfies the need of level 3. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is grapevine good or bad? আমি এই আর আজকে এটা শেষ করবো না, দ্যাট উইল বি একদিনে শেষ করে দিলে একটু প্রেশার পড়বে, বেটার আই গো বিট স্লো. Okay, is grapevine good or bad? Actually both. It has good side, it has bad side. Now good side is about when people feel this is friendly work environment, because you can understand grapevine is a place where people let's see, grapevine is where people is it not? See, grapevine is the place where people may release their work stress. You can understand this kind of while they're working, they're also having some informal talk. It helps release work stress, and also it forms good bonding. So among the team, cohesive bonding among the team. So it creates a congenial working atmosphere, friendly congenial working atmosphere, which is positive, which is actually positive work current. So the good side of grapevine is this, that these things will help productivity. Productivity. Okay, fine. Now, what is the bad side? Bad side is if it is too much. If there's too much grapevine, you can understand people are talking and these are all, black shades. It's not like clear face, black shade, because people are talking behind. Okay, this may breed to office politics. That may be a breeding ground of office politics. People talking or conspiring or talking against higher authority or top boss. So that may be a ground for office politics. And you can understand if it is too much, it will not help productivity of the organization. It is rather counterproductive. So the plain and simple grapevine is good. Let me write it down. Grapevine is good when small. So grapevine, when it is under control to some extent, so the small, I say, it's good, but it turns bad when it is too much. You can understand. Too much of people talking and giving less time in work. Obviously, this is counterproductive. You can understand. আচ্ছা, তাহলে আজকে খাতায় লিখে রাখো যে আমরা লেকচার 3 স্লাইড নাম্বার 30 পর্যন্ত হয়ে গেল। তো আপ টু স্লাইড নাম্বার 30। ঠিক আছে, তাহলে তোমাদের ক্লাস হচ্ছে গিয়ে বৃহস্পতিবারে আবার, রাইট?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
তাহলে বৃহস্পতিবার দিন তোমরা আমাকে মনে করায় দিবা প্রত্যেকে শুরু করতে হবে। তাহলে আজকে ক্লাস এখানে শেষ করি, রাইট?
ওকে